Welcome back to Mad Marketing's YouTube channel. It's been a few weeks since I started. It's been great, a lot of fun. I'd appreciate it if you guys could hit that like button or subscribe. This is going to help the videos reach more people looking for this information to help them in their entrepreneurial ventures, their business, or even their careers. Without further ado, let's jump right in. Today I'm going to be talking about UTM parameters. Now, what a UTM parameter is it provides you the ability to better track specific ad campaigns by using various parameters attached to the URL where you want to drive your traffic, right? And so I'm going to open up the Google Analytics demo account here, and we're going to take a look at the acquisition, all traffic, and channels. So I'm going to give you guys an example of UTMs. So right now we're looking at the default channel grouping. So the default channel grouping is how Google Analytics is set up out of the box to track the source of traffic, where it's coming from. So if I were to click on paid search, this could be Bing ads, this could be Google ads, ads that you're running on YouTube, anywhere where you're actually paying to drive traffic to your website or any specific URL, right? And so right now it's set up as keyword, and that's not what we want, because yes, it's helpful to know what keywords are being clicked on, but you need to know what campaign they're coming from, right? And so we're going to come here and click source. So this is a Google Ads account that in this demo account received 209 users and $656 in revenue from 2 transactions. So I know now that the source of these transactions, of this traffic, is coming from a Google Ads account, right? So now let's see if we can pull up medium. See, so they have the option here, source medium. Okay, so just to further confirm, their source is Google, the medium is CPC. So what exactly is the source? So the way I like to organize traffic by the means of which they're entering through what campaigns is I choose my source to be the brand of traffic. For example, if I'm running Facebook ads, my source is going to be Facebook, while my medium is going to be CPC, or cost per click. This is going to help me identify, okay, these specific users saw an ad came from Facebook, and seeing that it says CPC in the medium, okay, so I paid for these users to visit my website from Facebook, right? And then you can go a step further, and I'm going to try to pull that up here by clicking on advanced and see if we can find, I guess that's not an option for me. Okay. We're going to do it this way. Okay. So now I have my campaign. Right. So now I have my campaign. So I know that the source is Google. And because I'm here in the paid search default channel grouping, I'm aware that this is paid traffic, and these are the names of the campaigns that are being ran and that are driving traffic to the website. So that is the basis for how your UTM parameters are going to work. You want to include the source, which I like to call the brand of traffic. You want to include the medium, right? So again, the medium, if you're paying for it, for this traffic, I usually call it CPC. But then there's other cases where it's like email, and it's not exactly like Google ads, Bing ads, or Facebook advertising. So if you were using email and you're an e-commerce shop owner and you're using Klaviyo, for example, then your source would be Klaviyo, the brand, right? Your medium will be email. And then your campaign name would be whatever your campaign is. And I'm going to include a link to the next tool that we're going to take a look at, so that building out UTM parameters is going to be easy for you guys. We're just going to go here. Nope. Here we go. And so this is Google's URL builder. And essentially what it does is it provides you text fields to include your link, your source, medium, campaign names, the term, and the content of any ad or anywhere that you're planning on placing this URL. And once someone clicks it, it'll be able to Google Analytics will be filled out with the information that you provided here. So here I have a link to a blog post that we wrote some time ago, Instagram formatting, right? So I'm going to drop that link, just drops in here. And if I'm going to be doing it organically as it's set up here, so it's Facebook share in the medium, and in the campaign name, Instagram formatting ideas. So share is typically what I like to use if it's just an organic post. That's it, just an organic post. But let's say I wanted to shoot people an email about this. So I use ActiveCampaign. So I'm going to type in here, ActiveCampaign. No spaces. You could include a space. Since you're doing it with Google Analytics, Google Analytics will automatically fill out that space for you, which is %20. And if I remove that, there's no space you can see here. And when we look down here, ActiveCampaign, there's no space. But if I were to put in that space here, and we look back here, you see that %20 in the URL, right? And campaign medium, it's going to be an email, so let it be known. And we can keep the same campaign name, that's fine. This will help actually align the effectiveness and make it easier to search and find for this specific blog post. If I wanted to measure the effectiveness for this specific campaign, right, across the different channels, whether it be Google ads, Facebook ads, or this email, I wanted to decide on a CTA. Maybe people will sign up for the newsletter. So how many people are actually signing up from the newsletter through which specific source and medium for this specific campaign? Which channel, which source medium is the optimal choice for running this type of campaign? So these are kind of questions that you can ask, right? And so now down here, I'm going to skip campaign term and campaign content. Those are optional parameters that you can also include. And if you wanted to know more about it, identify the paid keywords used to differentiate ads. So identifying the paid keywords, you can really put the keyword that is going, let's just say IG post ideas, boom. And so let's say you're running an ad now on Google or Bing and you're targeting IG post ideas keyword specifically. This will now show up in Google Analytics for you to view, and your campaign content is going to help if you have multiple ad groups in a specific ad. And so this is going to help you differentiate whether you're testing copy or creative, right? So I'm going to remove this now, and we're going to see here, this is the URL, $UTM_source equals, and then you'll have your source, and then it's the ampersand followed by UTM_medium equals email, ampersand UTM_campaign equals whatever you put for your campaign name. Now the reason I went through how it's actually typed up is because some of you might actually like typing it up, especially to begin with. I know when I first learned about UTM parameters, I specifically chose to type out the UTM parameter myself to get comfortable using it, and so that I'm better able to understand it from the ground up, right? And so we can copy the URL as is, or we can convert the URL to a short link. Now, converting the URL to a short link is ideal when the customer actually can see the link that they're clicking on. So if you're going to just copy this and make that the link for a button, it doesn't matter if you create a short link of the URL, because the customer will not actually see this before clicking on it, because this looks scary to click on, right? So they're not going to see it. But if you're going to include it in the copywriting, for example, of a Facebook ad, not the actual, like, you can include it in the button, but if you're going to include it in the text above your creative, then I definitely recommend creating a short link. This will take up less space in your copy, and it's not as threatening as the other version. Mind you, even when creating a short link, and this is completely okay, there's nothing wrong with this, but once you put it in here, it's going to open up, and there it is. So it opens up and you have the full URL, and then this information is going to be passed on to Google Analytics. I'll be creating, you know what, I'm going to include this here for you guys right now. Let's see if we can. Real-time traffic sources, right? So we can pretend that we wanted to test our UTM parameter, make sure that it's working. You know what, here's what I'm going to do. Okay. Let's test it on this real account. So boom, traffic sources, and I see the source here, that URL that we just created with those UTM parameters. Active campaign is the source, and the medium is email, right? So if I click active campaign, let's click email then. And then I can see the campaign name, Instagram formatting ideas. So this isn't gonna come up in your acquisition all traffic channels right away. There is a delay. It might take 1 hour to a few more hours. You can check tomorrow. But if you wanted to test a UTM parameter before launching an ad and make sure that it's going to be tracked correctly the way you would like it to be in Google Analytics, you can go to real time, go to traffic sources, find your source, and then click email, and email will come up here. You'll see your medium, and then your source down here, active campaign, and then your campaign name. So what you want to do is actually make sure that these are showing up the way you would want them to show up. So I've seen it happen before where, let's say you have multiple Facebook campaigns launching, and I've seen this happen where this would say Facebook for the source. Sometimes the medium would say CPC, and then sometimes the medium would say ad. Now what this does in Google Analytics is it will split these two and treat them as different source mediums. So you would have Facebook CPC as a source medium, and then underneath you would have Facebook/ad as another source medium. This makes analyzing your data and drawing real fruitful insights from your campaigns via Google Analytics more difficult, as these numbers are no longer aggregated from your efforts. So that wraps it up. This is how you would use UTM parameters to better track your campaigns so that you can better understand how they're performing from a data analyst point of view using Google Analytics. I hope that brought you guys some value and that you're better able to track yourself and track your efforts and performance moving forward. If that helped, feel free to comment down low, subscribe, share with anyone you think would benefit from this, especially if you know someone running their own website or an entrepreneur looking to start their own website, start their own company, e-commerce shop. Anything like that would be great. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.